Cheerio and tally ho, no DQ Galaxy. It is I, the General, Jerry Slaughter, again with the Wizard of No DQ, Stefan Osborne. And we're here to cover NXT UK episode number 10 for another NXT party. An awesome show. We had a couple more, the other semifinal matches for the Women's UK belt.
Well, the only semifinal matches.
Yeah.
We find out this week who is going to vie for the first ever UK Women's Championship.
Yes.
Well, WWE UK or NXT UK Women's Championship.
We had a couple other matches that night as well, like tonight as well, but we're going to go ahead and mention this right now. You see a screen back here? How it's got the NXT UK logo. It could also feature your face. We'd love to have you on the show.
We want your face on this show.
We want your opinion. We want you to sit here, have imaginary tea with us, and talk to us about one of the coolest wrestling brands or thing that's come along in a very long time. So
You say so.
yeah,
I cover it. Doesn't mean I like it like that, bro. Give it some time. It's only been 10 episodes. Give it some time. I wouldn't call it the coolest yet. I think...
I said one of the coolest.
Oh, one of the coolest. Oh, so that could mean anything.
Yes.
One of the 700 coolest new wrestling promotions to come along. So, I think we're going to have very different opinions of this episode. Because, again, much like the last episode, for me, I just wasn't engaged on this one. There was a lot of good spots, a lot of good matches, a lot of good just everything was good.
Yeah.
But to start this off, we have one of the semifinal matches for the women's championship tournament. We have Dakota Kai versus Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, both athletes I thoroughly enjoy in a ring regardless. So I was actually pretty excited about this semifinal match. I already had in mind who was going to win on the other side of the coin on the other semifinal match, but this one was going to be a treat regardless because you had Rhea Ripley with her power and just obnoxious punk attitude. I'm loving it. And you have Dakota Kai with those kicks and that bubbly persona. So this match I thought was going to start... It started off actually classier than I thought it was going to start. We had
momentarily.
We had the test of strength going, but then only for Ripley to pick up Dakota Kai, put her on the top turnbuckle, and pie face her.
Yeah.
Start off with a pie face.
Piss her off a little bit.
Yeah, it pissed her off naturally. Nobody likes me.
So we got to see a side of Dakota Kai that we normally don't see.
She started laying in with some kicks and those running apron kicks that she was doing. Nigel McGuinness actually called them penalty kicks.
Yeah.
That she was running along the apron and just kicking Ripley right in the chest, and they're resounding kicks.
And of course, she gets in her kicks in the corner, her face washes.
Yep.
And he said he loves these because they literally come out of left field.
Yes, because she hooks around the referee all the way to the left, or at least stage.
She
left.
comes close enough to tag the side corner.
Yeah, pretty much.
So and hers have been different anymore. For the moment, she's going to the low kick first, where the opponent's seated in the corner, and she gets the kick to the face. And then, for some reason, much like the 5-knuckle shuffle, that causes the person to just want to stand up and lead against the corner. And then she gets the...
It's pretty much like one of those wake-up things. Like, they're waking up like, what the hell just happened? And just get kicked in the face again. So
it looked like Dakota Kai could win this match, but... No, Rhea Ripley is being pushed very strongly here, and she is being shown in this match and built as just this ultimate heel.
Yes.
She's very disrespectful, but she can back it up in the ring, and she's very powerful, and she dwarfs most of the women in this division.
Oh, absolutely.
Not by much, not like you versus me. Like, I'm 6 foot tall. This man, as commented in several videos, is very large. 6'4", plus the hair.
Yes.
He dwarfs most people, but he is a very gentle giant and a good friend. But big, and she is big, and she is being pushed as Maybe a punk rock monster.
Yeah, I'd say that. But she also pulled off with her inverted Texas Cloverleaf again, which I had said even in this match, if she were to even try to grapevine that thing too, like
It would be a great submission.
that'd be a great submission. There'd be really no escape from it. It would be hell on the knee. It'd be perfect.
It'd be almost impossible to crawl to the ropes.
Yeah. Especially with this, like you said, the size advantage that she has over most of the women in that division. So.
But throughout this match, she pissed off Dakota Kai, and she just powered her up. She gave her reason to get mad, and at one point at the end here, Dakota Kai grabs Ripley by the arm and just starts kicking her in the chin.
Yes.
Just kick after kick after kick. And then she goes for a kick to the head, and Rhea ducks it, and she gets her in that pump handle powerbomb.
The Riptide.
The Riptide.
Yes.
And she wins this by a pinfall, 1, 2, 3. And this is pretty much what I expected. Dakota Kai looked good. Rhea Ripley looked good. It was a good match.
Yeah.
Just not great. In my opinion, this entire show was good, not great. But it's worth watching if you want to keep up with the canon. Because I'll tell you one thing, for being only 10 episodes long, so far what I've seen in their storylines, everything makes pretty good sense canon-wise.
Yeah.
So,
You don't have many feuds that are starting just for no reason. Some are just long stewing and long established, like we have with the Eddie Dennis storyline. We've got the Coffee Brothers and Wolfgang.
Yes, sorry.
Wolfgang just pretty much trying to lay waste to British Strong Style at this point. And yeah, there's a lot of storylines going on.
Well, speaking of storylines, one of my, least, maybe underdog favorites here.
Yeah.
Literally the word underdog, Sid Scala. And this is what we get next. We get the camera rolling up on Sid Scala coming out of Johnny Ace's office. Or Johnny Saint's office. I thought I had it.
Yeah,
I thought I was doing so well.
Yeah.
Johnny Saint's office. And I guess Radzi rolls up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, notice you're in the office of the general manager. So what'd he say? You're going to get your opportunity? Sure enough, he's going to get an opportunity, but does he want it?
Right now, he is not cleared to wrestle. I guess he got his ass kicked too many times, too hard. So he says in 2 weeks, if he's cleared to wrestle, he gets his hands on, out of all people he can possibly go after at this point, Joe Coffey. Which I can kind of understand, especially if that's the win that they're going to give to Sid Scala at this point.
He needs it. He's 0-3.
Yeah, have Mustache Mountain come out there and distract the other two and throw Joe off his game and get a win under Sid Scala.
Push forward on that 3-on-3 feud.
Yep.
And give Sid Scala his moment.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to see in 2 weeks' time. It's not the only match that we're going to see in 2 weeks' time, but we will get into that later.
Yep.
Up next, we have an interview. I don't know if it's backstage. It looks like some sort of red carpet thing. Mm-hmm. It's like it's outside or something. It just seems that way. But this interview is with Jordan Devlin, who is... This might be the first time I've heard them mention somebody as undefeated.
Yes.
But he's basically calling out Dunn. We mentioned in our last episode there at the end, he yelled at the crowd that he wanted Dunn. And he has said, yes, officially, he's 4-0, and he won that match against Ligero, and he believes that makes him the number one contender, and so he's calling out Dunn.
Which I think would be an excellent match between those two. You have the, pretty much the grappling and everything of Devlin and his, high-flying stuff that he can do. It matches with Pete Dunne's submission and just sheer brutality, so that'd be a fun match to watch. If anything, just watch Jordan Devlin get his ass kicked.
Well, from what I've seen of Devlin, he is both capable of being a high flyer and he is a short powerhouse.
Yes.
He is a perfect match for Pete Dunne And no matter how green he is, I don't know if they've mentioned how long he's been a wrestler, but no matter how green he is, we know Pete Dunne's going to make him look good.
Well, the fact that he got trained by Finn Balor alone speaks a lot to me because he's so well traveled.
As you mentioned to me before we did the video, I'm not putting any money whatsoever on Devlin winning the championship.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's officially challenging for the championship.
And it's gonna be it's gonna be an awesome match. Simple as that.
So, coming off of the back of that, we have our first men's match. We have Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews tagging versus Joseph Connors and Saxon Huxley. And this is not the first time we've seen these teams. This was a pretty good match. It was entertaining, not really engaging. It didn't tell a story until there at the end, but I did like the story that it told. I did like one spot, though. It was really cool. You had Flash Morgan Webster and Mandrews. They did a double team where I think it was Flash did a 720 senton.
Yeah.
Like standing senton from in front, so kind of going backwards. Well, Mandrews did a standing, was it moonsault?
Just a moonsault, yeah.
Standing moonsault. So yeah, that was really cool. And then we had the ending, which just drove the entire point of this match, basically.
Pretty much, Joseph Connors calls for a tag, doesn't get it, and in the long run, Saxon just gets hit by the last three finishers, I guess. By one looked like it was a what you said, like a execution or
okay. Well, what happens is Saxon Huxley gets back into the match, and well, he not really a hot tag, but like he gets up from some offense, and Connors wants the tag, but and he looks like he's going to give it to him, but then he's like, oh, suddenly no, I've got this, I can do this. Because if you remember, Connors was the one that dominated at the end of the last match that they had.
I was about to say, he did like 3 moves in one.
Yeah, and then he won the match. So I guess in this case, Saxon Huxley wanted to be the guy to take the match home. And they had even mentioned on commentary how Connors is a guy that said that he would cheat his best friend, or he would stab his best friend in the back to get ahead, for opportunity. And
I think they're really going to play up the Nottingham thing with him.
So. Yeah, so he's from Nottingham, so we think they should call him the Sheriff.
Yes.
Just because it's so simple but so good.
Mm-hmm.
So here at the end, Huxley causes their own doom because in his half-hearted attempt to look like he was going to tag, he basically turns around into some offense. And we get, a
headbutt from Flash Morgan Webster to his chest.
And then he does this tilt-a-whirl into an execution.
Yes.
And then Mandrews goes up top because he's the legal man at this point, and he does a 450 splash, and they win the match.
A much better looking 450 splash than we got from episode 9.
Yes, much better looking. Square.
He did that thing, when there's impact. He landed it.
Yeah, he landed it square, and it looked really good, one finisher into the other. But obviously, they are single stars. I would like to see them come up with a way to do some new looking tag team finishing move together. But maybe we'll see that if an actual tag team tournament for some new belts breaks out.
Well, see, you always, like in teams like those, even you have one person that usually does like the ground type finisher, one that does the aerial one. Kind of like the Hardys. Because you have Matt Hardy who would do the Twist of Fate, and then you'd have
go up top,
and then Jeff would go up with Swanton. So I'm cool with the way that finish looked and everything, but yeah, that'd be really cool to actually see some sort of double team maneuver that we really haven't seen, especially something high flying. So.
But the win from the baby faces wasn't the story that that's being told here. The story that's being told is because Saxon Huxley refused to make the tag and let Connors finish this match, Connors was pissed.
Yes.
And he took it out on Saxon Huxley. And he laid him out, and he does this
don't look down. Yep.
Cradle flatliner. like a rampage into a flatliner.
Yep. And he calls it the Don't Look Down.
Don't Look Down. Okay, I didn't gather that or
Yep.
make note of it, but I'm glad you did because I missed it. Next up, we have basically right into another match.
Yep.
And this is Bomber Dave Mastiff versus Tyson T-Bone. And this was a match that was teased on, I believe, 2 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm. Because they were doing dueling jobbers.
Yeah, we had the dueling squash matches, and then them staring each other down, and then I guess after the fact they were backstage, getting into almost a fight that had to be broken up, and that made this match for this episode. And I was not engaged in this match.
I was underwhelmed.
It wasn't fun at all. Basically, there was a little bit of story in that. The big T-Bone, he's normally, used to being the bigger guy in his wrestling matches, so he's trying to use power game against Mastiff, who's just that much bigger and more powerful, and it's not working. And Mastiff is taking him out, and it went back and forth a little bit, but it was mostly just taking a moment to build up T-Bone to feed him to Mastiff, which is pretty funny, the dog eating the bone.
Yes.
But... it wasn't as entertaining as it sounds, especially coming off of their 2 squash match wins last week, which I thought, was pretty sure that I liked them both.
Yeah.
The
match ended like normally would with a Mastiff match, which was the cannonball senton into the corner.
Well, that German suplex into the corner, and then the...
Yeah. But the thing is with that is like, If that's how every match is going to end, it's kind of like a tell, but at the same time, it kind of made T-Bone really not look that strong either.
Yeah, like I said, they built up a jobber with 1 match, or maybe 2 matches, I think he's had, but they built him up just to feed him to Mastiff, which I guess is fine, it has to happen, but I wasn't impressed.
Hey, Stefan!
Oh, hey, Jerry!
Hey, that is a swell t-shirt you have.
Oh, this old thing?
Yes, where might I procure one?
Oh, well, you can go to nodq.com/shirts, and it'll take you to Pro Wrestling Tees, where you can get all of nodq.com's t-shirts.
All of them?
All of them. All of your favorite nodq.com personalities, including Stefan Osborne, of course, the Wizard of No DQ.
He's all right.
You've got the World Wrestling Trivia Champion, Greg Cherry, the Pennsylvania sensation himself. You have the Wrestling Trivia Challenge superstar Chris Cass, Medium Cass himself. You have Cindy G, the Duchess of No DQ. You have the new Interstate Kyle Day shirt.
Oh, wow.
Happy Interstate Kyle Day, Jerry.
Happy Interstate Kyle Day to you too.
Thank you. You can also get Jeff Meacham and Talk Wrestling shirts.
Seriously?
You can get the new Tyler Toilet Smith t-shirt. And it is a hoot.
Knee slapper.
And you can get Big G's shirt. You can also get new No DQ t-shirts, such as the No DQ Galaxy shirt. For the month of November, all of the Super Chat donators got put on a t-shirt for the No DQ Galaxy.
That's really nice of them.
And you can also get the brand new Ladies of No DQ shirt. If you like the Ladies of No DQ, they all now have their own shirt. And you can also get the new Fire Virtue shirt.
With all these great shirts, how can I decide which one I want?
Well, just go to Pro Wrestling Tees and search for NoDQ.com. And if you get enough shirts, you can actually save money.
Oh, I love saving money.
Well, this weekend, Pro Wrestling Tees is having a Black Friday sale of 20% off. And if you purchase more than $100 worth of shirts, that's like, say, 5 shirts, then you get 5 Loot Crate type box memorabilia items kind of things. Whatever that means.
I like surprises as well with my great t-shirt deals.
But if you get $150 or more, you get free shipping.
Oh, That's even sweeter of a deal. I can't wait to get onto the website and order me some shirts.
So that means if you just order 7 or 8 NoDQ.com shirts, you could actually save money on shipping while saving 20% because it's Black Friday.
Oh, I can't wait for this sale to begin.
So make sure you go to NoDQ.com/shirts to get all of your NoDQ.com t-shirts.
And that leads us into a graphic, or I guess you call it a tweet, from the big boss himself, Johnny Saint.
You mean Johnny Ace? Oh wait, no, Johnny. Sorry,
it's not John Laurinaitis. No, this guy is much cooler.
Much cooler than Johnny Ace.
Yes.
I gotta admit, John Laurinaitis was really boring.
Yes. He was nothing like his brother. So we get the tweet, and it's pretty much saying the match is going to happen next week, and it's going to be Dunn versus Devlin. So
for the NXT Men's UK Championship.
Yes.
And I can pretty much already tell that Dunn's going to win, because Dunn went into War Games with the championship, and these matches were taped before all of this, so I'm assuming Dunn's going to win this.
Unless he's been carrying around the belt as a ruse.
As a ruse.
As a clever ruse.
So, we're going to get a vid cap of Toni Storm and Jenny and how they made it through to the semifinals of this tournament. And we're going to go right into that match. Yeah. And that is the main event for the show. And it was a good match. Again, every match and everything on this show was good. But it wasn't a great match. And I've actually got quite a bit of notes in here, because we had... I saw Storm had this reverse deathlock. Reverse Indian deathlock. Like, she was turned the other way, but she was in that direction so that she could apply an STF. Yeah. And that was pretty cool. But then Jenny, like, she dominated so much of this match. And my problem with this is, after an initial little bit of offense by Toni Storm, mostly Jenny had this match. Mm-hmm. She dominated this match for so long, but she could not put it away. She made Storm look like a geek, and then she looked like a chump because she couldn't finish the match off. And I guess that gives it away. Yeah, Toni Storm wins, but Jenny had some awesome offense. Yes. She does this counter. Storm is seated on the turnbuckle, and she spread drop kicks her feet out from under her and puts her in basically a face buster, draping DDT from the corner, from the middle turnbuckle. Well, it looked really awesome. Yeah. And then she escapes the Storm Zero and lands this rolling wheel kick for a near fall that I guess is probably one of her signatures.
Yeah, that's how she won the her first quarterfinal match, was that kick. So.
But we get a snap German in a typical babyface comeback. We get a snap German out of Toni Storm, and she puts on the Storm Zero, and there you go. She wins. Babyface wins. So we're going to have your typical babyface versus heel in the finals match.
And as Toni Storm makes her way back up the ramp to check out the belt, naturally, Johnny Saint's already out there.
Johnny Saint's there.
And sure enough, we get another visit from...
Well, we get a photo op for... Yeah. Come to find out, in 2 weeks, we are going to have this finals match. Yeah. And Rhea Ripley comes out to face down Toni Storm, and Johnny Saint's there, and the title's there, and Rhea just... Quick little shove.
Yep, quick little shove.
Quick little shove.
Just to show some dominance, and then she does her thing. She does her little motion. And
I say it looks like Mickie James.
Yeah.
She looks like... It's almost exactly the same pose that Mickie James does. Anyway, yeah, she stirs the pot a little bit, gets some emotion going. They can stir it a little bit more next episode with some video packages or whatever. And then hopefully this is something that we will get next week. I'm not usually a big fan of them having 2 episodes per week. But if it's 2 weeks their time, then that means we should see this episode in 1 week's
time.
Well,
I would like that idea, because when we get the UK. We get the
Episode 11.
We get men's UK championship on episode 11, and then we'll get the women's UK championship match on the 12th.
So next week should be a good week for our NXT party. But that concludes this NXT party. And at the end of every NXT party, we like to rate the main event on a system of spots of tea. Yes. Out of 5 spots of tea. And normally I go first, but since we're doing 2 episodes a week, this week you can go first. Well, actually, normally our special guest, will go first. But when it's the case of just me and him, normally I go first. But in this week, since I went first on episode 9, for episode number 10, I want you to go first. Out of 5 spots of tea, where do you rate this main event?
I'm going to have to go middle ground with a 3. Because with this one, I've already mentioned it to you. I actually like the first one better, the Dakota Kai one, because it just seemed like there's a lot more aggressiveness, and you saw a lot more out of Dakota Kai than you normally would, at least aggression-wise.
Right.
And I wasn't as engaged in the main event as you were. Maybe it's the fact that I'm just tired. It's Turkey Day, people. It's Turkey Day over here, so, the tryptophan is starting to set in. But it just didn't grasp me as well as that first women's match did. But I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but both of the ladies did a terrific job, but it's just, like you said, the show was good, and I'm just gonna go with a 3.
That's pretty generous for just a regular good show, I think. So good on you. Personally, yeah, I was into the match, but for the wrong reasons. Like, this match resonated with me, but not for good reasons. I felt like I said, Storm looked like a geek, getting beat up by Jenny for so much, but Jenny looked like a chump because she couldn't pull it out. And she looked good while doing it, and she just couldn't pull it out. Just your typical babyface win to face the heel Ripley. And I thought Ripley's match with Kai looked way better because it made Ripley look way better.
Yeah.
It really helps define her and her character as this type of heel. And if we were going with the first match of the show to rate, it would probably be better. Probably more than a 3, but I think 3 is generous. I'm going to go with a 2 3/4.
The reason I think they probably didn't have the matches switched around and have the other one start off was the fact that they wanted that emotional moment where Tony Storm walks up the ramp to look at the belt and gets confronted by Rhea Ripley. Like, if they had put it the other way, it wouldn't have had that cool of an effect because Rhea Ripley wouldn't have already been out there or wouldn't have come out and started shit. Because she'd be coming up the ramp, and it just wouldn't have worked out as well.
And you could say that in that instance, maybe Storm would come out as a show of respect, an opportunity to have a face-to-face with the title there with the general manager, Johnny Saint, there.
Yep.
And no, I don't think so, because I don't think she would show Rhea Ripley that respect.
No.
So, yeah, it pretty much had to be the order that it was in if they were going to do it like this. And it was good. It was just a little bit better than meh. And I think I gave the last episode a 2 3/4 because it was just a little bit better than middle of the road. And for me, this one was less than whelming.
Well,
but still better than middle of the road.
Well, that's the other thing. Tony Storm really didn't show me much of anything different, except for maybe that submission move that you mentioned. But at the same time, like the last episode we watched, she only did, I think it was 2 moves, and got the win. And I'm just already kind of burnt out on her.
Well, I think for me the only reason that I saw more out of Jenny than we've seen in the past is just because she had more time in the ring.
Yeah.
Everything we normally see out of her we've seen, but then there was some stuff that she never had time for before, and she got a lot of offense in this match, so we got to see more of her. But yeah, it was just a little bit better than middle of the road. I give it 2 3/4. Call me a sourpuss, but I swear when it's a good show, and we've seen really great shows out of NXT UK before, but usually those end with a Pete Dunne main event.
Yeah, also with you though, like it's a lot more involved with story as well. If there's more of a story going on in the match, it keeps you more engaged.
And it's hard to tell a story here because it's a tournament, and it's just randomosity.
Yes.
So to tell a story in the ring, I don't think they had the time. Maybe they didn't bother putting any time into it because it is a tournament. It has meaning behind it. You're trying to win the first ever women's UK championship, NXT UK women's championship belt.
Yes.
You were trying to win that thing.
Yep.
So, with a 3 and a 2.75 spots of tea out of 5, I think we have ended this episode. And my name is, of course, Stefan Osborne, the Wizard of No DQ. I'm joined, as always, by the General, Jerry Slaughter. You can find me on Twitter at nodq.com/Stefan. That'll take you right to my Twitter page. It's STEFAN. Or just go to @Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. And find me there if you want to be on the show and be on that screen and talk to us about NXT UK and have a spot of NXT with us. Just DM me or DM this guy. He has a Twitter now.
At NoDQGeneral over on Twitter. And I also have a Facebook group called Armbar, capital ARMBAR, exclamation point. And you can go ahead and try and find us on there. Otherwise, thank you for joining us this evening. And
come have a spot of NXT with us.